Hey horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review as Black as Night. Alright, cast and crew information down below, and let's see what this IMDb plot has to say to start. A teenage girl with self-esteem issues finds confidence in the most unlikely way by spending her summer battling vampires that prey on New Orleans' disenfranchised with the help of her best friend, the boy she's always pinned for, and a peculiar rich girl. Alright. Pined for, not pinned for. I can't read. Anyway, uh, this is, again, one of these new, I believe this one is also Blumhouse movies that they put out, I guess, for the Halloween season here on Amazon. I reviewed Bingo Hell recently, so this is another one of those. I think I mentioned in here that that Blumhouse had done a couple of them. They did it last year. I also mentioned in the review that I've seen all of the movies, and really wasn't too blown away by any of them in particular. So I did a review of Bingo Hell, and I'm now doing this one. So I think I doubt I will do reviews of the other two unless somebody out there requested. So that's up to you guys. But as for this one, listed as drama, horror, thriller, I think it's missing comedy here. I think that's one of the things I enjoyed by it. Not again, drop off your chair comedy, and certainly not a direct theme of it. But I think there's enough there, and it might be in the kind of that indirect humor where you're kind of laughing at what's happening, kind of what's taking place, without it totally necessarily being made for you to laugh at. And it might just be the cast. This one is a young cast here. Again, a teenage girl. It's centered around high schoolers, and I think just them kind of being put in this position of vampires and kind of figuring out how to deal with the problem on their own kind of leads to some of the comedy, whether it was meant to be that way or not. I think it becomes ultimately an interesting group of characters. Again, there's the little bit of the older boy that she likes, and he's more of, I guess, you want to call it the muscle of the situation here. Then she has a best friend who's, probably too smart for his own good, and he's kind of like, maybe we should solve these problems in other ways, but, she's not going to really, she wants to do things her way, and then, like I said, there's another girl that they get into the situation who, is more knowledgeable about this, and ultimately, I don't know. I don't want to spoil it, but that's kind of the grouping here that you have. So it does center around the girl's name is Shauna, and it's her and her brother, and then her friend, and they kind of have a strict father, and their mother is away from them because she's fallen on hard times and drug use, and is kind of staying in her own place, trying to get help, but is finding that very hard. Obviously, that has an effect on the kids and Shauna, and I'm going to try to be, this isn't obviously a new movie, so I'm going to try to be as spoiler-free as possible, but I think that this kind of leads to how we dive into the vampires here. She goes and, she has a moment with her mom there, and you kind of set up, how she feels with her mom and her family situation. They kind of open up that and fill the time at the top with that, diving into her family and where they are now, and sees her mom and not in great shape, and has a moment there. Then later goes back and visits her again, but this time her mom is a vampire. But she doesn't really know what's going on, and X, Y, and Z happens in the room, and she ends up killing her mom. Killing her mom because her mom's a vampire. And this kind of then sets her on her own journey. She kind of then wants to find out, was her mom really a vampire? Did that really just happen? Who turned her into a vampire? And that kind of starts her onto her own adventure. And let's say certain things might or may not happen to her and her friends, and as far as whether they become vampires or not, and or how great of vampire hunters they become. Obviously, like I said, they go to the white girl here who's more knowledgeable. She kind of lends her way to that, some of the knowledge, and there's garlic and kind of holy water kind of brought in things. And I think if you watched Vampire, what is it called, Vampires versus the Bronx, or something like that, that was also another recent release, kind of in the same kind of way. A young group of kids here ending up stumbling upon some vampires and having to go toe to toe with them. So kind of the same kind of thing going on here. I think again, a large of it is going to be, are you going to kind of like this grouping of kids and so forth? Are you going to kind of fall in with their group and kind of go along, or you're going to be kind of thrown off by them and be like, I care less whether they live or they die, whatever, these kids are annoying, actually go vampires. I think that's kind of where this is going to go. I think at first I was kind of like, go vampires, but then I think as it went on a little bit longer, I don't know what it was in particular, but I thought I was like, okay, this group actually came together. Is kind of interesting. But you guys might see it a different way, which is fine. I'm always for, hey, let the vampires win. More blood and death and so forth. But then again, sometimes when the vampires die, those are the best deaths. Depending if they get really fried, and depending on how you fry your vampires. I mean, some people just have them go up in smoke, and some people like to melt them a little bit more, which is always a little bit more fun, but whatever. That's another conversation for another time. But yeah, and obviously the main vampire here is basically preying on poor people and kind of using them to suck their blood off them and turning some of them into vampires to help them out. I think what's also interesting is that there's going to be, I'm not going to say huge twists and turns, but there might be a twist and turn here and there. I would say, watch definitely to the end. Obviously, you're going to watch to the end, but watch to the end. Maybe something you would expect, maybe not. They're going to have a little surprise for you as the movie kind of concludes. But yeah, there might be a sprinkling of a twist and turn here. Nothing, I think, huge. I think for the most part you'll see most of the things happen. I think it's just basically when they really when it really comes time to face the vampires, I think maybe certain events don't play out the way you thought, or at least certain characters might not do or might not do what you expected them to do, or so forth, if that makes any sense. But no huge major twist here. I think you'll see. I think you can guess everything that's coming. Which again, when I mentioned Bingo Hall, there was just Bingo Hell. That is, there's no big major twist. Once you kind of see what's going on here, it is what is going on here. I would actually say that this probably had a little bit more twists and turns than that other one. What else to say about this one? I don't want to give away the ending of it and what happens there. Obviously, there's the big showdown and so forth, and they do have some fun with that. And again, like I said, some things that happen to certain characters probably didn't play out the way I thought they were or expected them to. doesn't mean that was a twist or turn. It might be a twist or turn. It might not be for you, depending on what you guys think while you're watching it. But I would say, this one and Bingo Hell, I would say, were probably the two that I would say, since I reviewed them, to watch. I would say maybe the others. I would say watch all the ones that are on Amazon now. Maybe those are more for you than not. I don't know. But I think I kind of wanted to talk myself into reviewing this one, just because I think I ended up liking the cast here and the young people more than I originally thought, and especially kind of at the beginning when it started. It was kind of sad, and you saw that the dad was going to be kind of rough on them. I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm really going to like this, but I think I ended up liking them more as the movie went on, and that's probably the largest part why I'm going to throw this in here. But overall, I'm going to give it 2.5 pools of blood, which I think is, that's out of 5. And, looking here on IMDb, it didn't do that well. So I don't know, maybe I'm being a little bit generous. I don't know. Like I said, I guess I ended up liking them for A, B, or C reason more than I thought, and I guess that's just it. And I guess that's enough to be said about that. Black as Night. Subscribe to the channel if you want more video reviews, if you like them. If not, if you're looking for some random reviews, horrorsgoryreviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all my reviews, and the written ones, of course. And Twitter, Facebook information down below as well. Reach out to me there if you want to talk about this movie, either of the other Amazon movies that were just released in this kind of block of them. If you want to talk about other horror movies, want me to review something, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter, Facebook. Probably Twitter's a little bit better. Also in the comment section, if you want to throw your 2 cents in on this movie, and or if you want to reach out to me there, that's fine as well. And I guess that will wrap this one up, and we're on to the next review, horror fans.